We didn't drive it, so I can't tell you what it's going to be like, but that engine has always been a great, smooth, efficient, sophisticated experience, and I don't expect that to change.
Right.
So it'll be a great pick for somebody who wants to cover a lot of kilometers. And that brings us to getting out on the road.
Okay.
Sorry,
there are other Petrols that you didn't drive, or there's only one Petrol and you drove that?
There's only one Petrol.
Okay.
So the Alcazar, originally when it came out, which is in a couple of years back, when it came out, had the 2-liter naturally aspirated petrol, which is no longer available. It only gets the 1.5-liter turbo petrol with the 7-speed dual clutch or the manual. It doesn't get the IMT.
And you didn't get the manual to drive this time?
No, only the dual clutch.
Got it.
Okay, so when we got out on the road, the one thing that set this apart from the currents and to me made it better was the suspension.
Okay.
This has a firmer tune than the Creta.
Okay.
It has a firmer tune than the currents. So we were in Udaipur. You remember when we went for the Curve EV, we went to that Raita Hill, so it was winding and you're climbing up and down.
And there were broken roads at the end of that. Yeah.
So I was being driven around, so I spent time in the second row and I also went in the third row on those roads. And the one sense that I got was that this is controlled.
Okay.
On the road, this control was the thing that I enjoyed the most about the Alcazar.
So you're basically saying whichever row you choose to sit in, you will have a good experience in terms of the overall comfort from the suspension, etc.
Right.
Okay.
To drive, very familiar, of course, because this engine and gearbox combination, we've used time and again with the currents, with the Creta, with the Seltos, everything. It's smooth, it's sophisticated, it's easy to drive, especially this generation when it became 1.5. The older one was the 1.4 liter that didn't have the responsiveness at low revs so that you could drive it calmly. Now this engine, since they brought it in, has brought in that character, which is key, especially for a vehicle of this type.
Got it.
So it helps build that experience up. The only thing in this, that firmness was something that I like the control of it. But the one thing on this car, which again doesn't work for me, are those 18-inch wheels. This is something we spoke about with the Seltos as well.
Yes.
This ride just becomes a bit brittle.
Right.
Every now and then you're going over broken roads, potholes and all. At many places it handles it nicely. But suddenly once in a while it'll go tuck. And that is the experience I do not like. 17 inches would have balanced it out like we've seen with the Creta. We've seen it with the Seltos.
And just to put a point on it, Kartik has discussed other cars with 18s. And it takes a lot of tuning to make it really, really work. And in the case of Hyundais, we keep circling back to the fact that the 17-inch Hyundais, they seem to just do it better than the 18-inch Hyundais. That's all the point he's making. In theory, that means if Hyundai were to pay more attention to tuning, this could be tuned out to the point where the 18 itself is not a problem.
Which is what we saw with the N-Line. When they went to 18s on the N-Line and they tuned the suspension for it, it created a great experience.
Right.
It created a great experience. So in this, considering that it's meant to be a leisure travel machine,
right,
I would have wanted 17s because the wheels, the tires would have felt quieter. The ride would have felt more supple. The cabin would have felt more relaxing because of all those factors. And on the road, that was the other thing I thought that they could and should have improved is the sound insulation. Because if the cabin were quieter, and that is something that the Currents excels at.
Yes.
It really shuts you out from the world outside.
Yes, and given the fact that the Verna exists, we know that Hyundai knows how to do sound insulation. Absolutely. So it's a strange miss that the Alcazar won't get it.
Correct. And which is why this has been one of those, it's like there's that one member in the family you just want, hey, are you sure you're from this family?
That's why there's every family has a black sheep, right? And the black sheep idea is this, that they'll be just slightly odd and slightly out there.
Yeah, so the Alcazar is like that. Yeah, our family is nahi actually.
That's only because Hyundai doesn't have an equivalent of the Zen Estilo.
No family wants that. No family wants that. No, that one's that goes too far.
If you love the Zen Estilo, leave us exactly 4 hearts in the comments so we know who you are.
And please unsubscribe.
Hey, no. Don't do that. I'm sure there are other places where
only if you have a Zen Estilo in purple.
No, I'm sure there are other places where our thoughts align, but the Zen Estilo, oh my God.
Okay. So in terms of driving experience, very neat. Spent a lot of time on the highway with it. Drove through the city as well. By and large, easy, clean, was friendly. So none of the issues of, because it's bigger, that you feel that, it gets inconvenient. That's not there. Gets a 360-degree camera, so the conveniences are in place. Front parking sensors. They've added all these features, and I think in terms of the 360-degree camera is strangely one of the things that I think Hyundai doesn't do that well.
Okay.
How they stitch the cameras together, the edges are always a little bit more visible than I expect. So it's a strange thing that I noticed, and I've seen it on other Hyundais as well. Sound system, fantastic.
Okay.
It's that Bose sound system. So the experience of traveling, listening to music, and all of that on point.
If you really enjoyed this clip, there's not much that you can do because it's over, but this clip is from a much longer video which plays on our main channel, which is called MotorInc. I invite you now to visit there and explore this idea in more detail, and there you'll meet another amazing motoring personality, my great friend Kartikeya, the one and only.